Can you read off the rest of the Japanese names, Cam?
I don't think. Oh God, there's more. I didn't. It's like 10 more. Sorry. Kazuma Kabori, Minkyu Kim. Why is Shub Hanker Sharma on? Oh yeah, he is Asian. Okay, that makes sense.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog Fantasy. British Open best bets: gold, silver, bronze. Plus, we'll be rigging up an Underdog entry, so use code MAYO at Underdog Fantasy right now. Get yourself a deposit bonus of up to $250 and use fantasynational.com/Mayo to do all of your research, and that will get you 20% off as well. All of the final plays, all of the recaps, everything you need to know if you want to shrink it down and spend 5 minutes instead of an hour or 5 hours watching all of the content that's out on Mayo Media Network this week. Just sub to the newsletter. It's completely free. It's down in the description. Mayo Media Substack. Cam Stewart on the line with me, along with Ben Rasa. Cam, coming off a winner. Congratulations.
Thanks, Pat. I almost had the 2 spot. We had the cooties, and he couldn't get it done. Like, that guy couldn't have played worse over the weekend. We also had our Filipino friend, Rico Hoey. This guy's really making a move. He's turning into a good golfer. A little too much adrenaline, put one in the drink. We don't get the 5-man playoff, Pat, but I'll take it. I was hoping for the double. Getting greedy would have paid tons, but I'll take McIntyre, and I got a break there. Sometimes you don't get the breaks. We got the breaks. He executed the shots.
I actually thought we were almost going to get a break, Ben, with Rico. I know you weren't on him, but when he had to take his drop from the rocks, he was able to drop it basically onto the fringe, and he actually got a putt to save the par to win.
It was, it was funny. So many people had Rico. I was kind of sweating it just by osmosis. So I feel you guys' pain. But I'm excited. I'm excited for last major. I love British Open. We'll see what we can do here. It's been fun though.
Well, I'm back on Rico this week at the Barracuda Stableford at 60-1, so you can bet on Rico again and experience some heartbreak. He was third last year in overall scoring, not quite in Stableford because I don't think he had enough eagles to really propel himself up the board. Although you think with his distance he'd be able to do that, but 60-1 Rico, that's just a bet that I've thrown out there. If you've watched Monday's show, you know where I'm leaning, but I still want to wait. We're still recording this before the tee times come out, Cam, and I do think that's an essential part of the process. It should be every week, but I just can't help myself. I am doing a good job of staying patient. I haven't added any outrights to the card until I see what the tee times are and we get closer with the weather.
That's what I like about you, Pat. I'm the complete opposite. I just can't stop smashing buttons. I'm like that kid in I told you, when I go to the grocery store, if it's shiny, silver, like any type of packaging, that looks good. I'll give it a shot. Like, I'm like a child. So I just look at stuff and I hit buttons and, I made that bet 3 times. That wasn't too smooth. But that's the way it is, Pat. I love Rico too. I think he's going to do well there. Great point by you. We got to take a look at guys who have eagles in this tournament. Eagles are 5. If you get a double eagle, it's 8. It's just, you know what? I know a lot of people hate this stuff, but I kind of like this tournament, to be honest with you. And I'm going to have guys everywhere, in the jabroni tournaments and in the British Open. So let's roll.
Ben, I'm closer to hitting winners in the jabroni tournaments than I am in major championships.
Yes.
Jabroni tournaments are where it's at. You get to play jabronis. I've been told that Matthias Schwab is over there. Nice. So I'll probably just bet him. But yeah, no, I like those tournaments because you can really dig. You can get some off the wall winners. There's no doubt about it.
What could Schwab do for you, Ben?
Right.
Hopefully a lot. No, and what, Pat, it's great because Scheffler's not there. I don't have to worry about this guy. If another jabroni beats my jabroni, big deal. We can hedge out of it. I did a little bit, but I'm greedy. I went for the big score with Cootie. I thought he was going to win the tournament, but I love these tournaments because you don't have these killers there, and we're kind of I find I rate these other guys, these tier 2 and 3 players, a lot better.
I would tend to agree. I bet Schwab at this tournament like 4 years ago, Ben, when he ended up coming in 30, like shanked some shot on 17 to lose.
I remember.
But that's what happens in these tournaments. Like, everyone had a chance to win the ISIS challenge, or whatever the hell it was called in Kentucky. And just the moment they all had a chance to win, the moment their games just went in the tank.
Yeah, you see some things here. There's no doubt.
So, like, how does a guy, and just quickly before I got Cootie, and he starts off like, guys are like 9 under through 11. And he's 3 over, like, on his 3rd round. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you really going to do this to me? Like, all you have to do is play par golf. Like, it's not even hard. Like, that they set a record. The freaking cut line was 8 under. What a joke. We could have actually maybe broken 100 there. That's nuts.
Well, Ben, I do want to ask you about the weather itself because, Cam, he's already hitting buttons. I'm trying to stay patient, but I've jumped in a few times, especially with the best bets that we're going to get to here. Always hit the time codes. By the way, if you want to jump around to see what we're betting, if you want to do it in Cam order and go bronze to gold, I mean, you can do that with the time codes. It makes it very easy on you. But how much does the weather go into what you're doing this week?
There's no doubt at this tournament specifically with the way they organize their tees in terms of you can have guys that are going to be done hours before other guys even are on the course, and just the nature of Scotland, it matters. So I'm definitely reserving a little bit, but there are two different schools of thought because if you guess right, you can get a little advantageous position and you've locked in a number. And then you say, oh man, my guy's got the perfect tee time. And that number may come down a little and you have a better number. It could be the flip side as well. So I'm not completely waiting because I also have the itch to fire a little bit. But there's no doubt I'll reevaluate once we get that information.
Yeah, I just bet on players that I figured were going to be popular this week, and I was going to get the best number now, not 2 days from now. The ones that I think are going to be about the same, I'm just going to wait and see what side of the draw they go, and just to keep updated with the weather. If you're looking for the weather, that will be in the newsletter, the link to that, but I'm using the Windfinder Station Troon, and it's basically at the golf course. The Firth of Clyde is out there for like the first 6 holes off to the right as you play Royal Troon, so maybe we can find a sweet spot for the wind. It looks like the wind's going to be consistently, 10 to 20 for the first few days. It gets pretty dicey on Friday right now in the PM, but there's rain overnight on Friday. That could move up to rain during the day because we're still far enough out that all this stuff can change. But I want to see a windy open. I want to see some chaos happen on this course, which, Ben, does that lead you to different styles of players, or would you just be trying to pick out the right times on Thursday and Friday and be like, you know what? I did the best I could. I'm not going to try to skill stack here. I just think this is the best conditions. If you play in the best conditions, you have the best chance.
I do think there is more of that where it's just like you can only do what you can do. But at the same time, I don't think it's crazy to say, okay, if it's really, really nasty, I'm just going to bump up a group really strong around the green players. And if it's not and it's soft, I'm going to group really good iron players and approach it like that, not even within tee times. Because if you have too many filters, you're choosing a handful of guys from a range and you don't have that many options. But for me, I definitely will look at that. I think around the green is something that I will either increase or decrease depending on what we think the weather could be.
Is that the same with you, Cam, or you just don't care?
I care, but the difference is I know like the Scottish weather, and you can get a forecast. It can change on a dime. That's the whole thing about Scotland. People don't understand. It's not like a regular weather report in Canada, Kansas, or Ontario, Canada, Newfoundland. Like no, Scotland and where they're playing at Troon. Like this stuff, Pat, 10, 15 minutes, it can go from hey, and then boom, next thing you know, the wind picks up. You get a little bit of rain, gets blowy, things change. So yes, I do look at it. But this is one area of the world where weather can literally turn on a dime and you could think you got it figured out and you don't.
And it does look like the max temperature throughout the course of the tournament is going to be around 60 Fahrenheit.
Beautiful. That's why don't I live in Scotland?
11, yeah. That's like the good weather. You don't want to swing it back the other way for the bad weather. And if it's rainy and windy, it's going to be kind of cold out there as well. But let's get to the gold picks for the Open Championship. I'm going to start off with one. It's a guy that I bet to win this tournament, but I'm going to play him in a different market. And he's the same odds in 2 separate markets here. And it would be the biggest hit of anything, Ben. I think you now hold the record at 7-1 for a best bet that's hit. But I'm going 14-1, Louis Oosthuizen, top former winner. He's also 14-1 in the low live market. But the guys at the top of the live board, you're fading Rory and Cam Smith at the top of the former winners. But in the live market, you're fading Cam Smith, Brooks, Bryson, the guys at the guys at the very top are just better in that market than they are in the former winner market.
Great pick.
It's a deep market. I honestly see that. That's what you got to do. Sometimes we talk about this a lot, all three of us. It's not just about finding the right player. It's about finding the right player with the right market. Usti, there's a million ways you could go about it. I'm trying to think who else is a reasonable threat in terms of former winners.
The top former winner market right now, Spieth is ahead of him. Brian Harmon is ahead of him. I think Louis is way better than those guys.
I would agree.
Yeah, Morikawa. So it's Rory plus 160, Morikawa plus 320, Lowry 5-1, Cam Smith 7-1, Harman 10, Spieth 10, Louis 14.
I'd worry about Morikawa and
Rory.
who else did you say there? Morikawa's dangerous, and who else did you have for former winners there, Pat?
Rory.
I like Morikawa.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you know what?
I like Morikawa as well, but I don't
Yeah.
think that Louis should be 7 times his odds.
I agree. I agree with that totally. Like Louis, and that I think that bet should actually be sawed in half. Like you're getting a wicked number. 8-1 seems reasonable. You're getting 16. Like that's nuts. It's a very good value play.
And Ben, to kind of flip it over to take a look at the low live market, Bryson's 3-1, Hatton's 5-1, Rahm's 5-1, Brooks is 6-1, Cam Smith is 7-1, Neiman is 9-1, and then it's Louis.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind the live market is a tougher thing to crack than the former winners market for Oos. So I'm totally with you there. And obviously, listen, Rory and some of these guys, they're top end players, but I don't particularly fear a handful of them. So you're trying to get past a couple guys in my mind at a big double-digit odds number.
And the good thing is Louis doesn't have to win the tournament to win this bet, which is always the nice out with Louis.
And if he withdraws, you get your money back. So you got that going for you.
Well, Ben, that's a 14-1 for me as my gold pick. What are you doing for your gold pick?
I went the complete not glamorous way. Very conservative, straight even money. Plus 100, though, for a guy that I didn't even think was going to get in the tournament, but he is in the tournament now, and that would be Alex Noren for a top 40
Amazing.
at plus 100. On the nose, even money, 10th at the Scottish, always gains around the green. It's Noren. I think it's pretty clear this is where he's most comfortable. He was playing great golf, then he was playing terrible golf, but he's missing the cut at the US Open. Rocket Mortgage was just bad putting. I think this is where he's at home. He's got obviously experience in the Open. It's pretty simple. I think he makes the cut. I think he has a fine week. And I'm getting paid off, doubling my money with Noren this week.
Yeah, Noren's had really nice runs at the Open in the past for this market especially. Like he's missed the cut a bunch of times, Cam, but a lot of that was in like 2010, 2011. Since 2011, he's played it 8 times. He's come inside the top 10 twice and the top 25 5 times.
I love Alex Noren.
And he doesn't play it every year.
I'll tell you, I'd actually take him for top Swede over Aberg as well. I think it's worth a shot. I'm actually looking at it. I know I had he in the tournament. The problem is he's still a kid. He had problems down the stretch. He's amazing. Let's say he'll be like a top 3 player in the world. He's what is he, 4th right now ranked? Like he's awesome, but he still has to figure it out. Golf's hard. And on Sundays, he's having a problem putting it together. And I'm going to tell you, I think Noren is the type of guy to beat him. I don't know how he's going to be affected. He's pretty mellow after last week, but I would go with Noren on a price. Ben, I like that look as well. I think Noren, I wouldn't even be surprised Noren top 20, 30, and 40. Like just play them all.
Well, the problem with betting Noren plus 333 is top Swede, Ludwig is minus 170 in that market, is that there's randomly 7 other Swedes in this tournament, Ben.
Yeah.
And, would you just guess who came 9th at the Open? It was
Marcus Kinholt.
Jesper Svensson.
Yeah. That is
Who's
always
the other
tough.
guy? Soderberg and all these other turkeys. Yeah, you're right, Pat. There's a lot of Swedes on the DP World Tour, but I just think when you look at class, Noren's the guy. Yeah, you're right. Maybe a little bit more than over 3-1, but I think he's a dangerous player.
No, I like this, Ben, because I was trying to think about the guys from that range, because Jeff and I had it out with Minwoo versus Rai on the show. Not that I wanted to bet either of them. I just found it crazy that Minwoo was 50-1, and then Rai, he's been bet down to 65-1 at this point. But I would throw Noren in the class with those guys. It's just Minwoo's more fun, so his odds get crushed.
Oh, yeah. I'm one of the lone non-Minwoo truthers. Every time I put him on my stupid little tweet as the fade, a lot of people do not get that. And so I'm with you. I think a lot of guys are in this bucket, and Noren to me is not priced like he is, but at an Open Championship, he belongs with those type of players.
Do you have, maybe your best bets will reflect this, Ben, but do you have any other random dudes you'd be like, oh yeah, I like their game for the Open, whereas I probably wouldn't bet them anywhere else?
Obviously, there's just a handful of these, and I'm sure we'll get into some of them. There is something to the Euros here. I really do believe that. The problem I have is there's there's so many of them. You've got double hole guard. You've got all these French guys now that are just coming out of the woodwork. So it's a little tricky for me. I do think someone like Victor Perez is going to be a name that people talk about this week. Guys like that. I'm not digging, Max Kiefer. They didn't let him in the tournament because they were too afraid. But I'm not digging too far down the market. I think I'll stick to the Euros maybe that we don't see every week on tour.
Cam, it's to you. Gold pick.
Well, wasn't that Frenchman Roman Lesgain? When did he finish? T4?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
lettuce,
right
week?
there.
the lettuce man.
Romaine over iceberg. Yeah. Anyway, sure. Pat, this is pretty. I'm like Ben. I just want a winner here. I don't want to screw around. It's even money. I couldn't believe I found this in specials. I don't want to mention books because I'm
can.
not sure who.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell
okay,
the people.
I found it on FanDuel Ontario. Okay, FanDuel. If you're in the States, they might have it too, but FanDuel. Okay, specials. Rory McIlroy and Xander Schauffele to both finish top 20, including ties, plus 100. Done.
Top 20, including ties. If I was to play that right now, including ties,
That's a wicked bet.
If you play that
for the price,
if you play that at Bet365 right now, parlay those two together, you get plus 128.
oh, sorry, I went to the wrong book. Okay, can I switch to plus 128?
You
please?
can, sir.
What am I doing? Then how did I miss that? I was scouring Bet365. I told you, Pat. Like I'm in space. I got like holes in my brain. But anyway, yeah, we'll take. Like, don't you guys think both of those guys are going to finish top 20? Rory missed every damn putt in the world in that tournament. He brought his D game and he's still on the leaderboard. Xander didn't really play that great either. And I'm seeing, he's a top 20 guy at the Scottish Open. I'm playing it.
Yeah, I can most definitely see it. That's been my biggest issue, Ben, this week is when I look at like the top 8 or 9 guys, it's like, yeah, if that was the leaderboard, that wouldn't stun me. But I know that's not going to be the case.
Exactly.
No, and I get it. I mean, both those guys, I'm going to get to Rory actually a little bit as my bronze pick. And Xander's been a walking top. I mean, the guy has played maybe the most consistent golf of anyone outside Scheffler in the world. It's been very, very impressive.
And Aaron Rye.
And Aaron Rye.
Well, yes.
It's not even a top 10. Guys, I like the cushion with 20 because it's hard. There's going to be a lot of surprises, as we know, in this tournament. That's what happens, right? But even Xander, if he has his B game, I think he can finish like T12, you know what I mean? Like I like that cushion at 20. And sure, it doesn't pay as much as a top 10 for both of those guys, but it's about hitting bets. And I think both of them are going to be inside the top 10. I like the cushion.
I know this seems strange to ask Cam, but does it kind of feel like people are off Scottie right now? Like he's just out of sight, out of mind?
Yes, it really does. Like I don't know how he's going to play. Win player, the guy can play anywhere, right? But it's just one of those things. Yeah, I don't hear anybody talking about him, but it's just one of those things, Pat. I don't want him. Like, and maybe that's idiotic. It really is. I just want somebody else, and maybe I could find him somewhere in a matchup bet. I don't know how Ben feels about it. I'm not a Scottie guy. I respect his game. I think he's the best player in the world. I'm just a guy that I like underdogs. I like cheering for other guys, and that's just the way I am. So I don't want Scottie Scheffler to win the Open Championship. I want somebody else. That's why I don't bet him. But you're right. I haven't heard anybody talking about him.
Well, if you too like underdogs, I suggest Underdog Fantasy. Code Mayo. And you can get yourself a deposit bonus of up to $250. The link is down in the description, and we'll put the play from this episode down there as well. If you want to blind tail it, or hell, click on it and just do the opposite, blind fade bet. Because sometimes that works out really well.
That's a tease.
No doubt about it. Yeah, again, that's the beautiful thing about the Open Championship. So many different ways to get action. I'm with you. I respect Scheffler. He's good enough to win anywhere in the world in any conditions. But I do think when you bring in weather and you bring in variance and you bring in some luck, let's be real, at the Open Championship, you need some luck. I feel more comfortable rolling the dice against Scheffler than I normally do. And that always can come back to burn you. But I'm not even close to considering putting him on my card.
Passion, drive, patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Supercharger, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. Let's get to the silver selections. Cam, you can lead us off.
Pat, can I mention a bet, but I don't want to get against your Louis bet, but just this is I'm not going to put this in the minerals.
Burmeister, low South African?
No, actually, Ernie L's low South African, 18-1.
Hey, he did just win a major on the senior tour last week.
Dude, the guy's ripping it up on the senior tour. Take a look at these guys. Like, they do well when they come back. Like, Harrington can play. Like, I don't laugh at older guys. I'm getting older, so I'm cheering for the old guys now. I'm down with heartburn, pain, bad knees, surgeries. That's the thing. And Ernesto, he plays. This guy is a great Open Championship player, right, Ben? Right, Pat? Like, I'm just saying that's a crazy bet. I'm thinking about putting in, not in the minerals, but I think that bet is nuts. I'm going to go.
Hold on. What were his odds?
I got him at 18-1.
Okay.
Top South African.
But you can bet him 10-1 to be top senior.
See, that's why I like coming on the show, Pat.
Yeah,
You're just giving me
so there's
other things.
There's
as
not,
I told you.
like, his odds aren't markedly worse than John Daly's odds in the top senior market.
Tell me what seniors are there at 10-1.
Yeah, who's
Get
there?
up to me.
So Patty's the favorite at plus 225.
Okay.
Phil 3-1. Sink plus 350. Alex Chakia 10-1. Ernie 10-1.
Oh yeah.
Darren Clark, John Daly, Justin Leonard, and Todd Hamilton are all 16-1.
He could win that.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, well, what do you think out of those guys? Like, he's going to be top 3. Like, Harrington could beat him. Sink plays well.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I don't know about Phil.
I like Sink. I mean, I think for the odds, Ernie is most definitely the best bet of those guys. Although this is a good Chaka course because you don't need a ton of distance if you don't have to. But Sink is like still the best of these guys. Like, he just plays on the PGA Tour.
Did I tell you, Pat, when I met Chaka at the Canadian Open that year, I'm like literally sitting on interviewing guys on the range. I'm like, hey, how about your custom clubs? He goes, play them off the rack. Like, the guy could literally walk into Golf Galaxy, grab a set of like he does. That guy doesn't give a fuck about it. I love Alex Chaka, actually. I think he's a really fucking cool dude. I've talked to him twice. He had all the time of the day. He's just one of those guys just hacking a dart, having fun. Like, he's not a pretentious dick. He's just I actually cheer for that guy. He's a really nice guy. Anyway, just wanted to give everybody heads up. Like, this guy doesn't even care about custom clubs.
I'm going to write that one down. L's 10-1 top senior. I like that.
Yes. I didn't make the minerals, but I'm going to play it, Pat. I really like that's better than South African. You're right. Way better opportunity, and the odds are great. But I will go if you want something. I'm not going to screw around with this one. Damn. I'm kind of
okay. You think about it. I'm going to throw one to Ben that I almost landed on, and it's no fun fading Neiman. I actually think Neiman's going to play pretty well, but his results at major championships would beg to differ, considering he's never finished inside the top 50 of an Open Championship. T53 is his best finish in 4 starts. Obviously, he's a better player now. But there's only 2 South Americans in the field. And in the low South American market, Ben, Griot's 2-1 to beat Neiman.
I mean, you know how I feel. This is a guy, that's the type of bet I do think conditions, we're going to try to have to glean as much information as we can, because if Griot can get into a throwing darts contest and he can lean on his irons, I know 2-1 is good value. Now, if it becomes a scramble fest and it's nasty, I don't feel super comfortable with Griot. But most shocking thing you said, there's only 2 South Americans in this entire field.
Yeah. Yeah, no Johnny Vegas this time around, and Mito didn't qualify.
Yeah, I guess who else is down there?
I guess
Alexander. Where's Toasty?
No, Toasty's playing in the Barracuda.
Yeah, that's right. He's swimming with the fishes at the Barracuda. Get Toasty. That's a really good bet, Pat. I think that you're really thinking outside the box, and I'm with you. I'm a big Neiman guy, but I'll take Grillo at that price all day and all night.
And just even to compare their track records, like, we've seen Griot play well in Open Championships. He's come inside the top 12 2 of the past 3 years.
It's true. This guy's he could play. I think that's a really good bet, and you never know with Neiman. I like it.
Yeah, and like, if the bet was which one of these guys is going to win, obviously it's Neiman, because I don't think Griot's going to win. But Griot could win this bet with like a T40.
He could, big time.
So that's like when I started scanning the markets, like those sorts of things really did jump out at me. Like essentially you're playing a head to head. And yeah, Neiman should be the favorite. It just feels like, 2-1. I think Griot, it's probably like a 60-40 type split of who has the better finish. And therefore it'd be good value on Griot in a head to head matchup. But Cam, your silver pick is.
How do you feel about Tagala? Can I ask you a question?
I like him. I mean,
just did.
I always like Sahith. Always.
You know what, Pat? I'm going to do this. I have a couple guys, like I have a Colin Morikawa top. No, I'm going to put Tagala in the 2-hole. Top 20, Sahith Tagala, plus 225. I will play that. I think I really like what I saw last week. I know he had a couple loose holes, but he's also dangerous. He hits it a ton. If this guy can keep the driver straight, I feel very confident. He's a creative player with a lot of power. I think he'll do well at Troon. I actually think he's kind of a long shot to be on page 1 of the leaderboard. So I will take Sahith Tagala plus 225 for a top 20 in ties, please.
Hey, that's a great number, plus 225 in ties. Ben, when we comped Theegala earlier in the year, I think it was Sky who actually made the first mention. He basically said, just take a look at where Spieth has played well over time, and Theegala kind of does exactly the same thing. And Spieth is, regardless of his form and how he plays, he just plays well in Open Championships.
No doubt. And yeah, I mean, we've seen Heritage and Traveler. There is something to that. And he's very crafty. Thing I like about the Gala, and this is something I always try to do with Open Championships. Cam mentioned it, it's going to be beautiful. And then a rainstorm comes down. He's the type of guy, he can roll with that. That's okay. He can just say, okay, I can scramble if I need to. I can lean on my irons if I need to. I can go low if I need to. And that's so useful because if you catch an unlucky break, and you have no backup plan, there's just no way to hang on in some of these conditions.
Yeah, it's like
I got to tell you guys, Pat, sorry to interrupt, but this is very important, and you've talked about this, and it's very important in football, everything else. See, I'm on all these books, and I got Sahith Tagala 225. I'm looking at a book that we all play on, and he's plus 150. That is significant. Shop around, guys. Like, it's one of those things. It's like I use the grocery store comparison. Like, I don't go to one place. Like, you go to your meat with this guy, canned goods here. Like, you know what I mean? You got to have multiple places because I'm seeing plus 150 for a top 20 for including ties for Tagala. And I got him at plus 225.
My silver pick, Cam, is in the top 20 market as well. And you might actually be able to find a better number on this. So I'll ask you to look on your book. What is Tony Finau paying for a top 20?
Okay, Tony Finau, top 20 here. Okay, well, he's up the list here. It's Tony Finau. He is plus 150 on Mr. Green, and I'll go to my other accounts.
I have
higher.
plus 170 is the best number I can find.
Let's go. See, again, 20 cents. That's, you know what? That's a significant difference. Like, people talk about that when you're betting baseball and other sports, like 20 cents. Say you're a player that hits like, $200 bets, $500 bets. That's significant money, Pat. That's a good price at plus 170. I'll find them on my other book, see if I can get you a better number, but that's a good price.
Well, Cam, were you the guy this week that laid $80,000 on Bobby Mack not to win?
Somebody did? You got to be, no, come on. Is this made up?
No, it's a real thing.
Some guy put $80,000 on him not to win?
I think it was 80,000. Ben, you would know.
Yeah, I mean, I did see those tweets. Yeah, I'm all for shorting those markets. It's just sometimes you end up on the wrong side of the dreaded tweet. So it wasn't me, thank God. I would have shorted Bobby Mack, but I didn't step on that landmine. Maybe this week I'll short him.
Well, I bet Finau to win with the top 8 each way, Cam. I just like how it's setting up for Finau, and you can see his number come crashing. It's gone from 50 to 40 already in the outright market, but I like this 170. I mean, that's really the range where you want to play Finau as top 20. I'm just trying to get greedy.
No, I think it's a very good price. I think Finau's dangerous in the Open Championship with his game. I look at it, and you know what? And the one thing, Pat, like, what do we talk about, Ben? Putting, right? The greens are different here in Scotland. It nullifies, I think, a lot of guys who and he can struggle once in a while. He gets cold, he gets hot, but I think it's good for him. He overpowers the ball. He can move the ball. There's a lot to like with Tony Finau this week, Pat. I will play him at top 20 as well.
All right. So, Ben, that goes to you. What is your silver pick?
Yeah, this is, well, I like this guy. It's kind of like with Finau. I did bet Finau, by the way, and I bet Sunjay. But I'm going to go to the top Korean market for Sunjay at plus 250. Best number I could find out there. It's not the easiest market to navigate. I'll be honest. You've got some guys. You've got Tom Kim and you've got Siwoo and you've got Benny. But I'm not really in love with Tom Kim this week. And I really do like the way that Sunjay is playing. I know it's been a terrible year for him in majors. He has to be better in the biggest tournaments. But if outside that, it's been world-class golf. And he was really good last week in obviously in the Scottish Open. And the short game is on fire. So for me, plus 250, if you don't want to go to some of those other markets, that's a way to get exposure to him. And I don't think he needs a magnificent finish to cash that. There are some other Koreans down the board as well that I'm not as worried about, but give me Sunjay plus 250, top Korean.
Ben, I found him plus 510, top Asian too. He's got to beat Hideki, Tom Kim, Siwoo, Ben On, Nakajima, CT Pots and Pans, Rikuya, Hoshino, and
there's some
my
dudes.
boy Hizatune. Yeah, so but I think over 5-1 for him, the way he played, I like it.
What can you read off the rest of the Japanese names, Cam?
I don't think oh god, there's more. I didn't it's like 10 more. Sorry. Kazuma Kabori, Minkyu Kim. Why is Shub Hanker Sharma on oh yeah, he is Asian. Okay, that makes sense. Young Han Sung, Yuto Katsuregawa, Masahiro Kawamura, Ryosuke Kinoshita, Gun Tek To, Zhang Hong Wang.
How many guys
With Bora Boob Sub. Who the hell is Bora Boom Sub? And Aguri Awasakai. I don't know who the hell these guys are. M's 5 plus 510. Pretty good, Pat. Could have been worse.
Yeah, I thought you really went through that pretty well here. I actually like Kamamura, and I bet like Hosino on the European tour all the time. So
Kawamura is 41-1 top Asian.
Yeah, I was just looking at top Japanese market.
Okay.
But I don't know. There's something that does worry me, Ben, about Sunjay, how he's missed the cut at the previous 3 majors and played well at all the other tournaments.
I'm very worried about it, and certainly he has just crippled me in the biggest tournaments. The one thing that I'm going to point to with that, if you look at his 3 majors, you could not possibly have putted worse in any of. He had been awful in all 3. He putted himself out of all 3, and he's been actually a good putter of late. So I'm going to chalk it up to an anomaly. I know that's kind of a little thin, but man, has he been bad at the biggest tournaments this year.
The only guy I can think that has putted worse than him in majors so far this year is Neiman. Neiman has been awful on the greens in major championships. Hey, we're back on Bentgrass at Troon too.
You know, we need something. And as Cam said, these are atypical greens. He was here in Scotland last week too. I like that he gained 2.6 with the flat stick, got some reps. If he holds his own, he's going to be, clearly better than the first 3. And I actually think that he's a very dangerous player here.
Cam, I released a few shows earlier in this week, and I've been getting feedback from people. Everyone just thinks Bryson is going to win.
Really?
Yeah. Like that's their cat. Like it used to be bet Brooks at majors because he wins majors, but Bryson has stolen all of the Brooks thunder on that now. Like every casual person you know is gonna bet like Scottie and Bryson or just Bryson.
The thing about Bryson, he's dangerous because he's just going to open it up. And recently, his short game has been great. Like I don't know, like what could hurt him here? Inexperience overseas, but he could kind of overpower Troon if it's not if the conditions are benign. Like I don't know how you guys feel about DeChambeau. I haven't bet him to win, but I can't really tell people not to or fade him. He's a dangerous player.
That's the whole thing with me, Ben, is that I don't know what I want to do with Bryson. Like I think he's going to play well, and he just showed up everywhere and played well. Hell, he even played well at Valderrama last weekend on Live. And I just don't think he's going to win. It's hard to win 2 majors, especially consecutively and in the same year.
Yeah, it was very hard. Bryson's unbelievable. He'll have a game plan. The one thing that I think with Bryson that I still hold on to a little is that when it gets off track a little bit, I think at times it does have a problem to get back on. And we see that. Like, he can blow up because if his plan doesn't work, he can do. I respect his game because he goes for it. But I think there is a downside to it. I'm not betting him. I get it. I mean, he's an extremely talented player. But I'm actually surprised, though, that maybe I shouldn't be. I guess with him playing so well, people are drawn to it. But that's not what I thought you would say.
Top 10 for Bryson, plus 180. It's like literally just pick 'em juice. For a top 20 guys, he's minus 115. And I know people are like juice. We always want plus. It's nothing. It's like basically a pick 'em in a baseball game. Who cares? Like I think he'll be there.
And he, in his three, I mean, I just looked on Fantasy National, fantasynational.com/Mayo to get yourself 20% off and get the leaderboard app. It won't work for the Open. You want to use the Open app for that. And just basically just turn on the TV, turn off the commentary, and stream Open Championship Radio while you watch it. It's a fantastic experience. But it'll work for the Barracuda and all the PGA events coming up. It's best leaderboard on the go. Bryson's worst finish in a major this year, Cam, is 6th.
That's unreal. It's amazing to me how Bryson went from a pariah to now loved, and I kind of like what Geoff said, when he was talking about it. He's just a different cat. And I respect it. Like that he uses mathematics, formulas, and everything. It works for him. Brooks Koepka's the bully. Like, you know what I mean? In that war that they had, it's just like, I totally agree with Jeff. You know what? That top 20 bet at minus 115 is smooth. I don't care. Like that is, to me, he should be laying like 30 or 40 cents for a top 20. He's too good.
Here's the other flip side of this, though, because you mentioned the key name. Ben, Brooks is 40-1 to win.
Yeah, I mean, golf, it's amazing. What have you done for me lately? Like, Brooks is old news now. He was all the rage, obviously, and pretty lackluster. He's found the weekend in all three, I believe, but he hasn't done anything this year major wise, and people are just onto new guys. That is an enticing number. It's fun. It's disturbing. Like, I bet Finau at 45, and Brooks is 40. But yeah,
I would rather have Finau than Brooks.
So would I. It feels so ridiculous. Brooks' closet is overflowing with trophies, and Finau's, getting the Rocket Mortgage IOUs. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting with Brooks. I never know what to do with him.
Guys, sorry, Pat. Like, just one quick question. You talked about strength on live. Ty Hatton's on a serious heater as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have we not seen this guy win? I know Sergio won because Lahiri gagged, but Hatton's there again. Like, this guy is on fire. Like, what are we doing with Hatton? That's another guy.
Well, he's the guy that I mentioned off the top when it came to outrights that, like, I'm probably going to bet Hatton, and I don't think the number is going to move drastically from 28-1. If anything, maybe you get a 30 or 35 later in the week, because I do think that there's going to be an optical thing with Hatton that I think happened to Bobby Mack at the opening of the odds. When Bobby Mack opened at 25-1, and he was the same odds as Victor and Rahm, people were like, well, there's no chance in hell I'm betting Robert McIntyre when I could bet these two guys at the same number. I think Hatton is going to fold into that same thing, because right now he is the same number as Rahm and Victor. And I just don't, and like, just almost like you said, Ben, you bet Finau instead of Brooks. 99%, and I did the same thing, but 99% of people are going to look at that and be like, well, of course I'm going to bet Brooks. He's better. And they're probably right on that. And they're probably right with Hatton, because Hatton's probably not going to win. Rahm or Victor probably just has way more win equity, especially at that number. I think people are going to be fearful to pull the trigger, and maybe we get a better number. But I love Hatton, Cam. I mean, obviously he's cleaned up the Alfred Dunhill links over the course of his career. He won on Live 2 starts ago. He's just been playing great golf all year.
I might make him put him in the minerals. I have another specials bet that I think is a really good price, but I'm kind of putting all my eggs in one basket. But let's take a look at Hatton. Like, what is he for? Like a top 20? If he's plus, is he plus money?
Oh yeah,
that's the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
that's insanity. Then I'll take Hatton. If he's anything with a plus beside his name, I'm in.
Yeah,
I think he can win this tournament.
So do I. Plus 110 for Hatton.
That's fine. It's plus. You don't even have to lay juice. I think that's a great price. Even for, what is he for top 10?
For top 10 with ties, Hatton is, where are you at? Hatton plus 240. So probably
beautiful.
Probably 3-1 without ties, I would guess.
And Pat, that's the way we handle that. You can either do, like, I know, Ben, we talk about with horse racing or whatever. Sometimes maybe you want to do 60-40. You can do 70-30, like a little bit more on the top 20 because it's more likely to come in, but you have to put something the other way. Hell, you could saw it off in half at 50-50 if you want. but I think that's a really good bet. I would not be shocked if Hatton is like literally in the mix to win the tournament come Sunday.
Looking at players in this field, Ben, at the 3 major championships so far this season, and how guys have played in majors previously in a year is usually the best predictor of how they're going to do in majors for the upcoming majors. And then we reset ourselves come Augusta National. But Bryson and Xander are by far the class of everyone. Then it's Davis Thompson in only 4 rounds. After that, of guys who've played in every major: Morikawa, Scheffler, Ludwig, Rory, Tommy, Cantlay, Bobby Mack, Billy Horschel, Homa, Henley, Hideki, Connors, Lowry, Finau, Victor. Then you have Keegan Bradley and Harris English are just randomly in there too. But it's just like treading water at major championships.
Yeah, there's something to that. I mean, those guys, I think, again, they kind of know what they're doing. Keegan, more of an off the tee type guy, but I hope that trend doesn't continue, because I'm going to be with you guys on Ty Hatton. I like him a lot this week. I mentioned I like Sunjay. Some of these dudes have not broken through. I hope it's clearly a first-time major winner. That would go a long way for me to cash more on the outright side than anything else.
Doesn't this feel like, I always just try to rewind in my mind. It's like, could you see like Brian Harman, like if he was ever going to win a major, the Open makes the most sense in the world of anyone that he was going to win. If Harris English ever wins a major, it feels like it has to be the Open Championship.
Yes, there's a lot of guys like that I feel like these, again, because it's just like a weird, I don't want to say gimmicky, because that I think has like a negative connotation, but there's just a certain skill set that, I mean, we've seen, the older players have obviously the best chance at the Open Championship. That's clear. That's a fact. And guys like that, I mean, I would not be stunned to see a kind of a random name like that with a real chance to win.
What do you guys think about Hatton, top Englishman? He's got to beat Fleetwood,
and
Rye.
Rory.
There's a lot of guys. No, just top English.
Oh, okay,
not English,
not UK.
The other.
Yeah.
He's plus 380. So Fleetwood is the favorite at 3-1. Ryan Ginger 6-1. Fitzpatrick, that guy, he's dead to me. I will never bet Matt Fitzpatrick again, probably in my life. Rose, a couple of guys like Jordan Smith, Wallace, Cantor. Actually, Cantor played well this week, did he not?
Where did he play?
But I still like that Hatton price. Was it Cantor?
Well,
Who's that British guy? Yeah, it was Cantor. I think he played. Did he finish like top 10?
Laurie Cantor?
Yeah.
Where? What tournament?
Am I nuts? Like, okay, hold on here. Yeah.
How is
yes.
Yeah, Laurie Cantor was.
He missed the cut last week.
Yeah.
I know because I needed him to play better.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
My question is, how did Laurie Cantor get himself into this field? Didn't he join Live like
Sorry,
2 years
Manziel.
ago?
Don't call me Barbara Manziel.
Oh, Johnny Manziel?
It was Manziel. I was thinking it was Cantor. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, but Cantor joined Live, and now he's off Live, and now he's allowed to play in PGA tournaments again?
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I just assumed he wasn't. Oh, Jans Damthrop made the cut last week. Good for him.
Of course.
Okay.
What a handle. Brooks's
Open Championship numbers. He's been pretty bad the past 2 years. 64th, and he missed the cut. That's right when he went to Live, was like right around St. Andrews, or just after that time. But other than that, 6th, 4th, 6th, 10th, 39th. I always make mention of this, although he hasn't won an Open Championship, Cam, is that he's got his start on these courses, on the Challenge Tour. That's how he played himself up to come to the PGA Tour. That there is a number where you stick it next to Brooks, and I feel like it has to be an auto bet no matter how badly he's playing.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and we're almost getting there now. But I got to tell you, like years ago, I liked him in this tournament. Remember, he had a lot of chances where he was like right at the top of the leaderboard in the British Open, just couldn't close the door late. But there's something wrong, Pat. But yeah, if you're going to give like, what would you say the number? Over 40, you're in?
He's at 40 now.
Yeah, you give me a 45 or a 50. There's a lot of guys I like, though. That's the problem.
True. What about you, Ben? Is there a number next to Brooks that you would bet him?
I mean, yeah, I think it's close. The thing about Brooks, I feel pretty strongly about. If I do anything with him, it'll be an outright. Because I don't think, I think there's a lot of like where he just plays not well at all. I want to fully leverage it because clearly Brooks has proven if you get the best version and he's in the thick of it, he can go and take it for you. So if I bet him, it'll be on an outright or something like that rather than like a top 20, a top 40. That's not the market I want to play him. But 40-1 is certainly something I'm gonna have to look into. That's a pretty big number.
Yeah, you could bet Can't lay at 40 or Brooks at 40? I'll take my shot with Brooks. Bronze picks. Ben, you said Rory was on that. Let's hear it.
Yeah, very simple. Cam made the case for me already talking about the top 20s with him and Xander. Rory for a top 10 is minus 105. I just expect him to play well. When I think of him at the Open, honestly, I think about the disaster in his home turf. But other than that, he's so solid at Open Championships. He's playing great. He was 4th last week, and he couldn't putt at all. The around the green game is strong. And yes, the year has been marred by some obviously unfortunate things, in the most crucial moments. But if you zoom out, still had a hell of a year. And at basically straight even money to be on the first page of the leaderboard, I think Rory has every chance in the world to win the tournament and play well once again.
Last 10 Open Championships for Rory: 6th, 3rd, 46th, miscut, 2nd, 4th, for 5th, 1st.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's my case right there. The guy knows how to handle these type of courses.
Case closed. I know. And the thing is, you guys watched it. Like, how many putts did this guy miss? And then, and he could just turn it on and like birdie 4 holes in a row, and then the one mistake, and he's just there. Like, it's just, if this guy can actually just consistently hit a couple putts, and his driving's always been great. Like, he is frustrating because Rory McIlroy should have like 20 more wins under his belt. It's crazy, actually.
Cam, bronze pick.
Pat, I got to ask you a question. Can you find me top Scottish player? I can't find it in my markets.
But Bobby Mack is minus. Why, we're going to bet Ewan Ferguson?
Nope. Connor Syme.
Okay, why Connor Syme?
Because he played well last week. He's been consistent. Ferguson's been good, and who else did I have? Ferguson didn't make the cut last week. Syme played pretty well at the Scottish Open last week. What's his number?
Top Scot, Connor Syme, is not in the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he in the field?
No,
yeah, he's in the field.
No, he's not. He's not in the field.
How did he not make it? That's impossible. The guy's good.
Callum Scott's in the field.
Okay. Man, I'm really screwing this
Scottish?
thing up. Yeah. Well, he's very Scottish.
Okay, you go and look something up. I'll go to bronze. Well, you have enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Destroying your show. Okay, I actually have a wicked bet, but you guys go first, and I'm going to put this one in.
Okay, I have a to make the cut parlay. Probably easier once the tee times are released. But I got Neiman, Scott, and Hatton plus 150 to make the cut. Parlayed together.
Ooh. Worry about Neiman.
Adam Scott is like going to deliver you a very spicy T41 this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really Neiman. I feel, famous last words, I think Hatton, he might be my favorite player in the whole tournament. Scott, I think will just get through. And then Neiman, just don't putt yourself out of it.
Yeah, don't putt yourself out of it, and you should be fine.
Yes.
Like, I'm not betting on him to win, but to make the cut seems pretty decent.
Pat, I got something in the specials department that's going to blow your mind, but it's basically I'm putting all my eggs in one basket with a couple guys.
Okay.
So I gave you Rory and Xander, top 20 in ties, plus 100. They have Scheffler, Schauffele, Rory, all top 20 in ties, plus 150. You could sign me up, and I'm going to smash this bet.
So Scottie, Rory, and who?
Scottie, Rory, Schauffele.
And Xander. Okay. Yeah, plus 150.
That's good, don't you think? I'm just adding Scheffler. Plus 150.
I never knew who those like random specials markets were for when people logged onto a page, but it's you.
They're for me.
How could it lose?
It can, but okay. Do you think all three are going to finish top 20?
Yes, I do think all three are going to finish top 20.
I am in. I didn't know Connor Syme didn't make the friggin' Scottish Open. What an idiot I am. Okay, doesn't matter. That's my bet.
All right. Outright bets from you guys. What do you guys got in so far? I haven't added since Monday. My final bets will be in the Mayo Media newsletter. So sub to the Mayo Media newsletter. It's free to do. It's down in the description. Help us out. Underdog Fantasy. Code Mayo. Go make your deposit on there and get a deposit bonus of up to $250. Ben, you said Finau? I like that.
Finau's on the card. I played Hatton at 28. Maybe I should have waited. Maybe I missed the best number. But I did put him on the card, and then I do have Sanjay at, I think, 65. The guy who, again, I felt like a genius on Thursday, and then I resumed feeling like an idiot for 3 days. Justin Thomas is up to 70. I'm not sure I'm going to play it, but I did look at it. I'll say that much.
I mean, I was told he won the Scottish Open on Thursday.
Well, that's news to me. I'll have to email the sites and ask for additional funds because they did not credit my account accurately then. That's unfortunate for me.
Cam, who have you bet outright so far?
Morikawa boosted to 18. Hatton, I just bet while we were doing the show. 28 I found. And I don't have anybody else. I might bet Finau.
Okay. Underdog plays, just trying to figure out who are the players round one, Cam. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. Who are the players that you like or dislike in round one?
First round leaders? I love this.
Yeah, not even first round leaders. Just who's going to play like, they don't even need to be leading. Who's going to be like a nice top 10 first round?
Fleetwood.
You like Fleetwood to come out of the gates hot?
Aberg. Obear, whatever the hell you want to call him. Tagala. Looking for somebody else here.
That's all right. Yeah, if those are the, I just need one or two. Those are like the two.
What about Wyndham Clark at 60?
Maybe we'll see about Windy
Or
C.
Harmon.
But it's, I mean,
66.
there's a lot of guys that you can put out there. It seemed like you liked Fleetwood, you liked Ludwig.
Yeah, and Tagala. 45
Tagala.
is a good number.
Okay, so Ben, how about you? First round guys that you might like, because I like Hatton, but I've already used him on one of my entries so far, so we'll leave him off.
Honestly, I mean, I do think that Finau has a very good chance to start fast. I know we all like him in general. And then I'll throw one guy that's maybe not on the card for me in any major way, but Sam Burns. If you get the right conditions, he can really get hot. I know it's probably not his preferred surface, but he's the type of guy in a showdown format, in a single round format, like all the great options at Underdog. He could, if he's offered some of his markets, I may attack them.
Is there anyone that we don't like for the Open? Like Homa. Does anyone like Homa? Like, do you want to pick on Homa?
No, not really. How's Cantley going to play?
Who knows? I never know with that guy. Like, okay, here's an example. First round, Dustin Johnson. Higher or lower than 70.5 strokes, Cam?
Higher.
Oh, they just took John Daly 80 strokes off the board. No fun there. like Dustin's 200 to 1 to win this tournament, Ben.
I that's nuts, but
yeah, I mean, the only thing he has going for him is name recognition. Like there, if you blindly looked at anything, you're being led to over on that number.
Okay, how about Will Zalatoris, who's also 200 to 1?
Nope.
Like as a yes or a no, like would you want to pick on him?
Yes, I would. In matchup bets, yes.
Okay.
He doesn't look right.
No, he doesn't. He missed the cut in
I
Scotland.
mean, his off the tee numbers were awful last week, like as bad as I've ever seen them.
Okay, so we can go. I mean, we can try to make this really easy and see what we got going on here. We can cook this one up. This will be the official play of the Best Bet Show on Underdog Fantasy. Code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy in order to get that deposit bonus of up to $250. Tony Finau, lower than 70 strokes, so he needs to shoot 2 under or better. Will Zalatoris, higher than 70.5 strokes.
Yes.
Sign me up.
All right.
You know what? Xander Schauffele, first round leader at 25 to 1. That's a good number.
It's not bad.
He always comes out of the gate hot.
Not bad. I like this one though. I'm trying to keep it simple. The problem is I started doing really well on Underdog, Ben, and I was like, well, I'm getting like 2 of 2 and 3 of 3 every time. What about 8? And it's just
7 of 7.
Yeah, but I would get like 6 of 7 and be like, well, I'll just run it back tomorrow.
Gotta run it back. Yeah, I know how that goes.
Like everyone wants to talk about they can be the most disciplined person in the world, but like you get close or you get one and you turn into Cam.
You do. Sorry, I'm struggling here. I will say this, Pat, I can't stop. It's something I enjoy more. Like I look at things, I get excited about everything. I look at the page. Yeah. And then the problem is, and Ben will tell you, it's like horse racing. You get close, you're hooked. Like your guy, like, you know, a bomb that like you were on the right path. It's almost like the guy who wins the lottery ticket, like the scratch off the first time, he's hooked for life. You want to lose.
And that will do it on the Best Bet Show, Stokastic.com. And oh yes, Paul.
Can we get an update from Cam about the guy who's stealing his Amazon packages off of his front?
We got tape. We had a meeting about him. We might have had a sighting at the McDonald's in Clay Hill. Not sure. He only has one jacket because he's broke. But if he comes in our complex again, everybody's got a Ring camera but me. I got people looking after him. Don't worry. We're going to get this guy. But it's been 3 months now. So it's not going very well.
All right. Well, hopefully the bets this week go a little bit better. Oddshopper.com for Ben Rasa. I assume you got plays every day?
Plays every day. Obviously, we got the tools, Discord if you're playing on Underdog. And we are doing, I will say real quick, for the Open, you can come in for the week for $1. Just use the code OPEN. And if you can't spell open, unfortunately, we don't want you. But if you can, come on in over at Oddshopper. It's just a really fun time. I couldn't be more excited for this week.
Cam?
Yeah.
Rank your favorite Scottish foods, because the cover art of this episode is you eating haggis.
I don't mind haggis. Everyone thinks
What
it
is
sucks.
that?
It's sheep innards, but you just put gravy on it. Favorite Scottish foods: deep fried Mars bars and Snickers bars. That's about it. I like haggis a lot. There's not a lot of Yorkshire pudding. That's kind of a British and Scottish thing. Love it. Great with a side of roast beef. Rare. What other Scottish foods? That's about it, Pat. But I'm a big fan of the deep fried sweets.
I would guess that you're someone who, even in Canada, would have celebrated Robbie Burns Day every year.
I do, because it pisses me off that the Irish just have St. Patrick's Day. Robbie Burns Day is a throwaway. There's Scottish people in the world too. The Scots get treated like fucking trash. Like nobody respects their holidays. It's like, really? Like what's Robbie Burns Day? I know he's a poet, like whatever. I just go and have a couple drinks. People get ripped on St. Patrick's Day. What about Robbie Burns Day?
There you go.
Right? He's like the 300. He's like the 500-to-1 golfer. That's what he is. He gets no respect.
That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Code Mayo at UnderdogFantasyNational.com/Mayo. Sub to the channel, sub to the audio podcast, and join the newsletter. Completely free, all down in the description right now. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.
That Mayo experience! Experience!